coordinator of the Pete's Robocon operation, but
So the most important guy.
sure. I mean, I tell myself that, because somebody's got to. But oh, great.
The higher ups can't work without a foundation.
Sure.
Yeah. And you got an awesome flat cap.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. I do have a funny story about that later. But we'll get the panel going. This portion, obviously, this is Pete's Robocon, but I mean, Pete, the Night Shining group, they do work. Jesse and Pete do work with like other toy lines. I'm not sure if you're familiar with their Animals of the Warrior Kingdom exclusive that they have. That kind of loosely ties into a Transformer Shall Remain Nameless. Or I think you all know that. But also, I mean, the group wanted to really take a look at some independent toy lines out there. It's all, as much Transformers is a bigger toy community, but it's also, I mean, the whole niche is smaller in a sense, and we all try to, cross-motivate and work together and support each other. If I gotta label myself as something, I'm technically a G.I. Joe guy. Don't hold it against me too much, So that's kind of how I fall into assisting with this panel, and Jesse will be chiming in a little bit. So we've got a couple toy lines that we'd like to go through, kind of going back and forth. If you haven't seen them or you haven't been aware of them, and at the end we can discuss any others we didn't talk about, or if you're interested, or if you have questions.
Oh, man, these Dime Novel Legends, I'm so excited for.
Oh yeah, they look fun. Aliosh is a good buddy of mine. He's put a lot of hard work. So, get the full screen mode. The logo. Yep. And let's see here. Maybe we got to zoom out. Sure. That's the side. Where's the zoom? Am I blind? I should focus.
The other wheel.
I was like, one wheel on that.
Yeah, I thought there was a zoom in, zoom out. We can maybe move it back. Thanks.
I think it's all the way out. No, that's how it's all the way out.
All right. Awesome. I think that's yeah. We're gonna call it a chief or good enough. So that's the lovely logo. The first one are Dynamo Legends, Chicken Fried Toys. Like I said, a lot of these groups really, it's a close knit, all in cahoots grouping. We're kind of I'm going to go out of order here and start with Boss Fight. Boss Fight Studios were former Hasbro employees. As you're aware, even with Transformers, Hasbro is, and other properties, Hasbro is shifting their directions and really moving around their staff puzzle pieces and making a lot of changes. That'll actually be a repetitive theme throughout this panel. And the Boss Fight guys were let go, but that's fine to them. They came together and started off the Boss Fight Studios, which we will cover. But
Aren't they also part of the Marauders? Like they do the Marauders Gunrunner stuff as well?
well, that's okay. That is also part of it. So Boss Fight is the foundation to a fair amount of these toy lines. Not all of them, but a fair amount of them. And they will then, not only are they doing their own pieces, but they'll do a lot of contract work with many companies, and the one in particular was Marauder Johns. So Marauder Johns was about the first big 3D Kickstarter style figure. Not all, these aren't all 100% compatible and interchangeable, but there's a lot of commonalities, and the reason is the boss fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did do Modern Johns. They also did their own, and then they had inputs with Aliosh's dime novel Legends. Since, as you can tell, because you did this, we literally just started.
Yeah.
Do you want to shift it around?
No, I think we give a little introduction to the dime novel.
I just started by, I paraphrased by prelude by starting off at boss fights kind of in the mix in terms of production
Right, yeah.
turnarounds and all that.
Yeah, boss fight, in addition to doing sculpts and their own toy line, they're also helping a lot of other of these smaller businesses deal with the factories in China. Because, we have that Emma Wars of Kingdom that was supposed to be out last year. So, yeah, Spiro Studios were trying to deal with the factories themselves, and they were getting the runaround. Then Chinese New Year came, and that's a month where the factory does not output. So they eventually had to just give up, and they're like, okay, boss fight, can you help us out here? You can have I don't know if it's like a percentage of it, or if it become, sort of an underside of boss fight. But yeah, the one guy from boss fight is now over in China on the factory floor, like, okay, make that. So I don't know if you've seen pictures of it, but they have some of the armor and stuff for the series too. But anyway, getting ahead of ourselves, we're at the dime novel Legends, which, again, if you've gone to like JoeCon, you've seen that he's had that for what, 4 years?
Yeah, in some shape or form, 4 years.
And he's had paint he's had paint masters for forever, but then he's had paint samples since at least last year, because I've seen them. Yeah, he showed me in hand. But he is, I don't know if anybody knows John Russell.
I do.
He is very particular about his toys. So anything, like the first samples came back, and like the Indiana Jones eyes, the Hasbro Indiana Jones eyes with the big, thick black around the eyes, and the eyes are like 25% bigger than they're supposed to be. That's what his Cowboys came back, and he like immediately rejected that, and now he's down to a little finicky on like the pinstripes on the pants, like the way that they have to wrap the paint app around the leg. They're not lining up when when it comes back around. So that's just, about like a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years even. He's been going back and forth with the factory, but I think he's finally ready for production, because we've seen carded samples now, right?
I think so,
So just moving along here. This is from his Kickstarter from whenever ago. But this is his original offering. Like, he wants to be very authentic and realistic to the period. So like, he wanted not just cowboys, not just sheriffs, not just outlaws, but he wants like the firefighter there, the Union soldier, the bartender. You gotta have the bartender with the beer. And one thing that he is dead set, I guess, is the female gunslinger. Like, he keeps getting requests for the female gunslinger, and he's like, no. If I do a female figure, it will be, so it would be, the woman working upstairs in the saloon.
Mhm.
So that would be his female figure, because there weren't really that many actual female gunslingers. Maybe he could be like
You do a Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane, Annie Oakley, where they do the
Yeah.
shooting thing, the traveling shows, but
If you want a pirate, he could be Hank Bonny.
yeah, I too. So yeah, that's just a taste of what he's looking at, and I wish that this would show up better.
You want to try the focus?
Yeah. So these,
Those curtains.
I know there's blackout curtains, but you have to rent them. So these images, production images, he was telling me about them. So they're one of his paint samples, but the photographer actually works for Lucasfilm.
Oh wow.
So that is why you get that top quality and play the shadows and the diorama. So he put those out a few months ago, and yeah, I mean it's just that's terrific. Look at that one. That's just amazing. And that's what he wants to go for. He wants that really realistic. It feels like that's an actual guy sitting there in front of the fire. So I think the figure actually comes with a frying pan and some of the cooking accessories. So yeah, that's like what was in his mind as he was going into this. So that's just a good glimpse of that. And then next weekend, yeah, he might know something about it. I don't know.
I might be attending. So they might have me on the
There's
roster,
rumors
but
that you're
don't
not.
have me still. Well, there is. Yeah. There's a lot of rumors about the toy world. I mean, and they're all true. Every rumor you've ever heard is true.
So yeah, well, you get a little bit of a preview here. I don't know if he's actually shown this picture. Oh no, there's no picture.
Oh, yeah.
No. So anyway, what was supposed to be there, I don't know why it's not showing up. I probably embedded it wrong. It's the custom class figure, which is the Skeletron from Red Shadows. So it's the head, the torso, and he's got brand new sculpt, hands, and gun attachments. You're supposed to bring an accelerator suit and back parts, I think.
If you never attended, I'm not exactly sure how the Transformer one custom class exists, but with the Joe convention exclusive, or the Halios would always host it, and you would have to bring and give it. He would pick the parts that he suggests you to use, but this is a custom class, so you can use whatever parts you want, but you're buying the base kit. And that's what Jesse was referring to.
Follow nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people know this.
Yeah.
Action Force. The Kickstarter went live yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's up there and it's racking up some money. It's
And this is 6-inch.
6-inch scale.
6-inch
Yes.
scale figures. But Bobby Bella, he worked on G.I. Joe. He worked on Marvel 6-inch, so he's got a good feel of both of those, which he's drawing that experience together to give this Action Force line. So as we're going through, you might get a vibe of like Condor. Well, I mean, he may or may not be Duke or Hawk, or there might be some inspiration there, but there might not be, or
I mean, they all pull from these common tropes that we all
right. Yeah, I
love
mean,
here.
you got the blonde American boy.
Yeah.
It was the good guy.
Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America. So yeah, this is although he's not American.
Right. I
Great.
just saw that. I was like,
oh, it's this
You knew,
the blonde-haired, blue-eyed British, all British boy.
Captain America with a spot of tea.
But also, Bobby, he is also a gun fanatic. So if you see this, it's not just he comes with a machine gun. He comes with a machine gun with the clips. He's got the actual earpieces that are separate from the helmet. He's got all the holsters that are completely accurate for the figure. So I mean, there's a lot of detail buried in these figures. And then this is the other hero figure, Downrange. Again, the same thing. It's
Oh, block.
yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's like it's all the details are there. It's a great color scheme. I love that. That slate blue against the.
Oh yeah.
That is a great color scheme. And there's the bad guys, which are. Yeah.
Dude, you see that Spartan helmet though?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that's like the bad guys is what I'm in for.
Bill reminds me of Circus Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And he's got the jacket. Of course, he's got the shotgun and the hatchet because he's got to have the evil weapons.
Also, looks like the guy Indiana Jones fought in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
And
a little bit. Yeah.
And they all got to be sleeveless to be
Oh,
true bad
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got the beard because you got to hide the face because he's evil.
I'm evil.
Well, I mean, yeah. Right there, that's the example. And then the bone collector, I love
Look at
that
these.
mask.
Oh, dude, the masks are just awesome for this.
Yeah, and he's got the
Attack vest.
the machine gun with the little grenade launcher on the bottom. He's a little sneaky. And he's got the Yeah, the machete with the air holes. No resistance on that machete.
Oh, yeah. He wants it done in one.
Oh yeah. And he's collecting those bones. He's not letting anything get in his way. And then you got the swarm troopers, which are the troop builders. And yeah, that's a great deco. That's a nice insect. Yeah. Nice insect and the honeycomb symbol for the swarm. I don't know what that gun is, but that looks nasty.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either.
It's like a leaf blower.
Okay. Maybe it doesn't look nasty to everybody.
Does it shred the leaves and
It's not
stuff?
fun to shoot fires.
Yeah.
I'll bet you $1 and a donut. It's not an actual sold rifle. It's probably some tech that he found.
Yeah, if it's not a stock
He
rifle,
really
there's
is,
probably some kind of add-on.
Him and Alyosha have a lot of commonalities where they want it. Certainly these groups are surreal. You're one of these swarm troopers, but they're believable. They're true to life,
Right.
5-year future tech sort of characters.
And then we get into like some of the behind the scenes. Like here he's holding, I believe that is a 3D printout of the vest. You can see, whose vest is that? Is that Bone Collector's vest?
That's yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, yeah, because he has the grenades, the grenade launcher right across his chest there. So that's the Bone Collector's.
Bobby's been arguably the most forthcoming with the process to the build-up of his Kickstarter. He's really clued you into the process and really tried to get everybody engaged from sketch one to.
Yeah, we've seen. Yeah, we've seen the artwork that we saw. Well, that was colorized rendered, and then we've seen the 3D printout. Now we have seen hand painted, correct? We've seen the hand painted ones. So yeah, and look, it's just like having seen a little bit of the behind the scenes, like this is what Hasbro did for the layouts. I mean, this is exactly what. So I mean, you get a little feel of.
That's exactly what I was just. If you,
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say, if you're a robot guy through and through, and this stuff's putting you to sleep, or whatever, at least look at it in terms of the process.
Mhm.
And you would get a better appreciation for how to handle the Transformers as much as anything.
Look at those little dime sacks at the bottom there.
Little elbow joints and
You know,
Hey, you want to try?
Primo elbow.
we got one more glimpse of the vest. Do you want to pull up the video here?
sure.
We'll close this down. We'll hold his secrets.
Clear my browser.
You just keep your folders out there on the desktop like that. I make folks work for mine.
No comment.
Are they all shortcuts to coded file names?
It's just like the folders, and then to like maybe you get like a Word document, just a.
Oh, come
I mean, if we need to, we can try out this brand new thing that I just drove 20 minutes to go get.
on. Oh,
Did you keep the receipt? Okay, yeah.
It's, I'm charging.
Easy enough.
all right. Well, we can reveal. Sound might not work. Sorry,
You don't have a great speaker here?
I don't think I have it.
Well, if you know anything about the community,
It's
don't do a thing. No, you don't?
Is that Angry Mike I hear?
What's his name? McLeod?
Chris McLeod, yeah.
Chris McLeod. He's doing the voiceover right now. He's telling you all about these characters. He's telling you about the good guys versus the bad guys. He's telling you all of Bobby Bella's history with the G.I. Joe and Marvel brands.
Figures, the hero action force, Condor, down.
I'll tell you what, since we didn't get that far, we'll just put it in there. find this video at their Kickstarter.
Action Force is here. The flagship line from Valaverse is the definitive 6-inch or 1/12 scale military collector action figure. These highly detailed figures feature multiple points of articulation, tons of gear, and display stand. Valaverse has years of award-winning toy design experience and will use that to deliver a wide range of ultra-premium products. This initial Kickstarter launches with 5 unique figures. The heroes of Action Force, Condor, Downrange, go into battle with the leader of the garrison, Kerak, and the boat collector from the Brothers of Bones. Don't forget to stock up on multiple stormtroopers as well to complete your squad. There are also awesome additional characters and gear to unlock in the stretch goals. Head on over to Valaverse.com to learn all about Action Force and its characters. Constant updates will be provided along the way on Kickstarter and all the corresponding social media. Also, stay tuned for some big surprises along the way. Thank you for helping bring Action Force to life.
Yeah, we hyped? Loving it?
Full force!
Where's the 3 3/4 inch product? What's cool is he's like it is like a universe he's building with it. He's got
Yeah,
like
absolutely. He's got the story already
Yeah.
there. And,
it's worth checking out, worth giving a read just on the
Mhm.
on the page and all that for sure.
Sure. If there's one thing you can say about the more military-minded GI Joe community or whatnot, is that there's been a consistent demand for 6-inch figures. So now is the trial by fire to see if the internet says they want it.
But do
Now,
they
the
really?
bank account's gonna allow them to have it. Find out.
and then there you get a sense of like how they're measuring up the toy gun to the real gun and making sure it's all accurate. I'm not sure I saw that little snub submachine gun. It's pretty cool.
We might be seeing some pre-prod or some way
Yeah,
to access.
later
I don't know. Inside scoop.
And moving on, well,
Yeah.
got into the Animal Wars that came down. They're a 4-inch scale, so somebody might like those. They're also doing the deluxe, which are 5-inch, I believe.
Yes.
And they're like gorillas or buffalo. I don't have any pictures of them. We're just doing the series 2 of the basic. But the deluxe are gorillas, bears, saber-toothed cats, buffalo, all sorts of cool cookie things like that. So this is just we see a couple more of the deluxe down at the bottom and some of I believe they're all series 2. They're not the full series 2 lineup, so we'll go through that right now. So yeah, this is the main character, Pale, and he's got the alternate wolf head. It was released in Wave 1, but there's a lot. There's like maybe 4 or 5 characters from Wave 1 getting their deco tweaked for Wave 2 because they look cool in Wave 1, but again, like Jason, he really wanted them to have a certain look, and it was like 90% there. He's like, I want another shot of some of these. So we're getting another Pale. I am blanking on his name. I'm sorry,
I'm terrible
about
with them as well.
That's
Sorry.
That's the bad guy. Isn't
But he is the bad guy, and
Yeah.
he's got the alternate head where he can either be a generic trooper or you could say that that's his helmeted head. He's got the big fist weapon.
That's awesome.
Can't be a monkey without having a giant fist weapon.
Lionel.
Well, that's before you showed up. I said they may or may not recognize the Night Shining paint deco. That's for them to decide. But then,
Yeah.
the Animals Lawyer Kingdom has
Some of
a
them
few.
weren't, shy, but
Sure. Gee, I wonder where they got this.
It's very 2011.
Coiled Pain, or is it his own source? Who's the one that's the other White Lion?
It's not cool. Oh, well, that's If you're familiar with with Roma Collectibles
Yeah, Roma.
exclusives. That's starts with a B and ends with Battle Beasts.
Yes.
Their main deco is the white. What is it? The white line with
White
the
Lion.
Yeah, Pirate Line, White
Oh,
I like
Lion.
the Japanese.
Sure. If you caught the far left corner of the first image, there's a Motu Stinkor.
Yeah, I've got all series 1, and yeah, I think that's whatever they call this kind
I got the scraps.
Sure.
I'm after them Battle Beasts.
I mean, it's absolutely not Stinkor. They're not using anybody's IP
No.
whatsoever. This is
No,
their
no.
own unique thing. Don't
Yeah, I like
sue- don't
scraps,
sue
too.
us.
yeah. He's,
My paint was a little,
oh yeah.
yeah, so I repainted mine, but I love that scraps.
Oh, I know. I mean the sword on his back. It's just kind of like Kleber.
And this is another one of the trooper figures. So he's got 3 different heads that you can put on him. So it can either be the baboon. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a cat under the helmet or what kind of animal that is. I guess it's, you can have it be any furry muzzled animal. You can also make it a monkey if you want to add into the monkey tribe. But like I was saying with the paint, you can see in the series 2 we've got some weathering on the weapons and
Rusted.
yeah, a rust look, a little bit more detail on it, on the belts and on the figure itself. So he really wanted to punch up the paint on Series 2. And this guy's got a nice earth tone copper look going on. And his alternate eye, he's got the eye patch.
That reminds me of Dr. Zayas.
Yeah,
I mean, you never know what kind of homages there.
yeah. Dr. Zayas, if he went to fight instead of, being a politician.
Sure.
I believe this is called a headhunter. It's another of the troop builders. He's got a great tribal marking going on there with paint, and we have the weathering on the weapons, and that purple is nice.
Yeah.
Striking purple.
The Skywar colors, man.
Yeah, there you go. Star colors. I like this guy.
Yeah.
I've got him on pre-order as soon as they went up. He's the Jaguar or the Cheeto or the Cheetor. Yeah. So needless to say, I'm going to be using that alternate head on mine for the kid look, the younger look. Yeah, I got
Perfect.
that head on there. But I mean, there is something to say about that standard head because he looks kind of like the good guy version of a certain exclusive that should be coming out alongside of it. Another Jaguar, but maybe black.
With some gold armor,
Yeah,
perhaps.
some gold armor.
They're phenomenal.
Man.
This is another Series
Prototype
1 that's
packaging.
coming back as Series 2. Yeah, look at that. It's a nice metallic orange, and we get the 2 blues on the armor instead of the single blue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's got the weathered weapons instead of just the standard. I think his was just all gray originally. By the way, the stands for the heads, they do not come with the figures, but they're on Amazon. If you look into role-playing games, there's a guy who does all of these different role-playing stands, but they're great for accessories and figures, just like we're seeing here. I bought a pack of them. It's a great way to display those alternate weapons. If you didn't see them out in the deal room, stop by. Brandon.
John Kent is the.
Yeah, John Kent, but he sent some product, but he's not here. Brandon. His first name is Brandon.
Say Brandon?
Say, hey, Brandon. He'll reply. He's out there. He works for the Warlords of War line. We'll get to it. But yeah, there's 6, 7 different people who do this Glio system. They're interchangeable. You can pop an arm off of one and put it on another, even if they're a different toy line. All this.
I think I saw it earlier. They had the little volcano.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy. Stop by his booth and say hi. Check out all this stuff. It's awesome. He also has boss fight samples for everybody to check out.
Yes, the Hex, the V-Hex.
Yeah, it's the latest wave of Vitruvian Hex that has already been come out to retail. It's not the new one that they're just showing. And Series 1 and 2 of the Bucky O'Hare, which look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the RoboForce stuff too.
Yes, the RoboForce. He's got RoboForce. He's got Zeroids, and there's another robot that he's got over there.
Glycos is a toy line, but then they also, I don't think they quite exactly license it out, but if you go through these steps, they will say that your line is Glycos approved, meaning, and I'm making this up, but let's say back in the day, Thundercats and Transformers, clearly two different toy lines, but if they were Glycos approved, you would be able to pop the arms and switch
Yeah,
them out
but
and
we-
add some sort of.
Lino's arms on Optimus Prime, and
So yeah, sure, yeah, or the heads and whatnot. They want to exist as their own separate toy lines, but they also want us as fans. We love toys,
Right,
sure,
yeah.
in some ways or another, to come together and add some
absolutely.
another layer to it.
And yeah, when we start showing these, you'll see like they're definitely toy fans. Like you've
Yeah,
got
the playset,
some-
man.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah, that's wild.
That's a very familiar sculpt to a lot of people, but it is a 2-inch, I believe.
Is it okay?
Yeah, so this is Battle Tribes. I'm not really familiar with Battle Tribes, I have to admit. But we can see a lot of cool things. There's like Dinosaur Man and Swamp People. A blue guy with a skeleton face that, I don't know, he's capturing a blonde guy with a silver armor. I don't know who this guy's supposed to be, but
John Kent is an old friend of mine, and I hadn't got to see him for the longest time until I went out to NJCC a year or two ago, and he just went on a tear and a tangent with this Glycos system and everything. I mean, it's so well thought out. If you just have a passion for toys, Jesus, I mean, it was mind blowing. Yeah.
good luck because they sell out almost instantly.
Sure. Yeah. You said that too. He likes that niche.
Yeah. Here's more Battle Tribes. You know, he might be a barbarian of a certain name. I don't know.
Gee, I wonder.
I don't know these, but they look amazing.
This, as you can probably extrapolate, this is all the arms and the legs and all that all pop off and form the Glycos system.
And yeah, it's not just the,
Mix them around.
on this line, you can see it's not just the arms and legs, but you can see like the one robot's eye. You can change that as a different board. Crazy things like that. And you get a bunch of different colors, of course, because you know, everyone loves the Darkos. And I like that they play with the glow-in-the-dark plastic, the translucent plastic. It's really fun, the color schemes that they come up with these toys. It's a white robot.
Generics.
I don't know if it's a you painted or if it's just showing the base body design, but it looks pretty cool to me. Yeah.
That's just the backside.
Okay, here we go. Here's a little bit more designed version of it, so you can see that it takes that same body design, gives it a little bit different head. That's a lot of paint. That is a very impressive amount of paint. Coming from Robocon and Joe stuff, that there's a lot of money there. This is the Toyfinity Robot Force, which is actually he bought it full the old '80s brand. I don't know if you guys know the RoboForce brand, but it was an old '80s brand where they were about this big. They had a giant suction cup on the bottom that you could suck them onto something, and then they had some kind of gimmick with their arms. Like this guy was based on one where you popped the elbow off, you flip the switch on the back, and he'd like flail his attack claws at you. So, well, this one doesn't do that, and he's smaller. You can see the character is there, and you can pop it off at the shoulder. The elbow is a separate piece, so you could take that off, take the hand off, and he does have actual suction cup inspired bases for a lot of these too. So you can either have the robot legs like they had in the, I believe they did have a packaging comic for that toy line. So where they had the legs, but the toys had the suction cup, so you can pick and choose your look for the robot. And then okay, there's the suction cup on the left.
The series had one TV special, and it's included on the Gilmon's second DVD.
Oh, good information in that.
It's very good animation.
Awesome. So you got some evil-looking robots there, some good-looking robots there, and something that looks like you want to eat. It looks like a Jolly Rancher. And then I don't believe he brought these. He said that they were shipped to him, but they didn't make it in time before he had to come up.
They have some of them.
They have some of them over there? Okay. Is the Armor of Monka or a similar name to that?
It looks just like those.
Yeah.
It's one of those players on those.
So yeah, you can see on the clear ones how many different pieces they come apart in, and you can swap them any way you want. I know the two in front, and I believe the one with the spike head and back, you can also take the heads off and they become the hands. You can see how the ones in front are sculpted like a fist. So yeah, they're completely swappable, interchangeable. The gray one in back, that's a cannon that can go on his hand, and you swap it into some other. Oh yeah, the ones in front have that head as the cannon. You can see the similar shapes there. And then the skeleton-looking guy, he's got the fist that is the front guy's hand. It's a very interesting way to put together all these figures. And then this is Warlords of War. This is Brandon's toy line. You might see the homage there. The T-Rex is at Walmart's now. I forget what brand it is, but it is at Walmart's now. If you're lucky enough to get that Cobra, which I have not been, it's sold out online. He had like one of them here, and that's gone. So people love that Cobra, but yeah, it's very cool looking. And then here's some more Warlords of War, which look very similar to the first one. You got the swamp-looking guy, a zombie, and a water-looking guy, a mermanish man of some kind.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
And then this is series 1 through 4, starting at the top left. Series 1, 2, 3, 4. And they all have, at least starting with series 3, they all have at least 3 or 4 different heads, so you can make all kinds of different troops for them. Like in series 4, you can see there's 4 different heads in that picture. They each come with those 4 heads in the color scheme that corresponds with the base figure. Very cool. And then this is the 5th one that he just put out a couple months ago, and I believe the middle 2 are the only ones that are still in stock. Because you might recognize the one on the right. You might recognize the one on the left. He's kind of like a science fiction sort of guy, I think. But yeah, very cool little figures. So please go over to his booth, check him out, and ask him all the questions you want. Make a big deal about his product, because he was nice enough to drive 3 hours with all that product to show off. So very cool guy to talk to. Very cool toys, and check out the Gladios, because they're amazing little toys. If you just love toys to have toys, it's a great little toy, and they're fairly cheap too. They're reasonable. I think it's like 15 to 20 for the standard figure.
Yeah.
So it's not not ridiculously expensive like some of the little independent toy lines where it's like $30, $40 a figure. No, this is a great little entryway into the small toy business. Please go check those
Like
out.
Jesse said, that's, you got any just jump on them now. They're
Oh yeah, I mean,
they sell out.
and it doesn't hurt to have one that you're not really sure about, because later you get another one that you can swap parts with, and then you have 2 that you really like, and they're your toys.
Sure.
All right, now boss fight. Yeah, I messaged Katrina kind of late about this. She was great enough to send out those samples, so please, give her a round of applause. She was great about this. Yeah. And then here's some of the Bucky O'Hare. This is the animation frog, which we don't have over there. So I wanted to make sure that we show this off. It's the blue instead of the, is he standard black? Purple? Okay. And again, like the other ones, since he's a troop builder, he's got 4 or 5 different heads. So you can have a whole army of, if it's either a different expression or a different mask or whatever they do. So a great little troop building. And then you gotta have your monkey. Every toy should have a monkey.
Agreed.
Exactly. And he's not even, I mean, the average size is what, 6 inches, 5 inches, like,
Yeah, it's about 5 inches.
so like, yeah, old school He-Man size, he's then what, 7?
Yeah, he's
So,
giant.
he's your money's worth right there.
Yeah,
They're scale conscious.
absolutely. There's another look of him with some of the other accessories that we have to pre-order. I don't know, is he still pre-order?
I'm sure it is. I don't think he's out now.
I like how he's holding the piece. Just
Yeah,
blah,
he's-
blah, blah.
Yeah, he's not messing around. No monkey business. There's a good promotional picture. So it's a dark purple black for the standard Frog Trooper looks like. So this is series 1 and series 2 because they've got Deadeye and Frogs. And there's some behind the scenes of how they do all the layouts, the turnarounds, all the parts layout, the parts check, and then we've got somebody as that what's his name? Eric. Yeah, there's Eric painting the paint master down there. Looks like he's painting some bright green, so that might be either Bucky or the Frog. That's a good look back. Giant, the diamond inspector goggles there to make sure that he's got all the paint on there, right?
Sure. Eric,
They're all-
same size with a one horsehair brush to really tell you the detail of these guys.
Okay. And apparently, if you get the exclusive Deadeye, you get a lunchbox. So it's not just toys. That they like their, just like back in the day, they like all the tie-in merchandise. So go talk to Pete about his non-toy collection. So yeah, believe that. Oh yeah, well, of course with the Vitruvian Hatch with Star Boss fight. I almost forgot about them. Yeah, you got the basic skeleton here, which great figure. I bought a couple when they just did the blank ones.
The regular,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got all the different armor, the helmets. They've got a great thing with the skeletons where there's a separate piece that goes on there that's translucent. So you can put any armor on there. It's not just the little tiny thin armor that only goes on the skeleton and you can't put it on the big muscle guy. You can put that little clear piece in there and they can wear any armor you want.
That's
Get a little haunted armor feel if it's like one of the bigger, bulkier pieces where it's floating off the skeleton. It's really good, yeah. And you can see the weathered paint on it. Yeah, they love their detail. And this is one of the latest days. I'm not entirely sure. But the samples for at least the first two, I don't recognize the third one, but the first two, the samples are over at Brandon's table. So again, please go check those out.
They wanted to create, if you're not fully aware of the toy line, they wanted to create a 3 3/4 inch figure that exists in a finished sense, but also has an easy way to take apart. I mean, G.I. Joe's, for example, back in the day were 3 screws and then shaboom. But they're designed for customization. They're designed for interchangeability, despite
Everything.
selling it as an individual piece. And to really flesh that statement out, they started with Greek
Spartans.
mythology, Spartans with the Wave 1, but they're clearly not limited.
Right,
They're
now
trying
I've got fairies and gargoyles.
all aspects of fantasy and science fiction, all our pop culture elements.
Also, if you go over and look at Brandon's table, they do blanks. So it's just a shot all in one color, and then you can go and, if you've ever seen their tables at conventions, it's hilarious because they take the little 50-cent machine
Oh,
bubble capsules.
yeah.
Yeah, the gashapon, if you know the Japanese term.
Yeah.
And they've got the accessory packs in there. You go in there, you plop like $5 or something.
Something, yeah.
Something like that. Turn the crank and you get a random accessory pack. So if you get the blank, you get the accessory pack, you can go ahead and make whatever.
And I'll give you some inside baseball on that if you ever see it. I would spend $5 there because they'll just throw in their pre-production weapons.
Oh, yeah.
They'll throw
I mean,
in
it's-
release stuff. They straight up don't care. So if you're into that, chances of you getting some wild stuff is pretty high. Boots, lawn.
Are they going to be done to show fest? No.
I wanna say they're a Joe Fest, but I kinda don't think they are. I don't know. Look above my face, I'll look here.
I know this is the last thing. Going back to our first one, this one. So Alyosha is also doing horses. I think his Kickstarter passed, right? That was like last summer.
Yes, it did.
This horse. So you see this, it's this majestic Pegasus. It's a work of art. It's a work of art kind of turned into plastic.
The TriStar logo.
Yeah, exactly. But Alyosha took one look at this and he's like, that's not how horse anatomy works. I don't like it. So if you compare this to like the Dime novel Legends horses, like the Dinosaur novel Legend horses, they look real. This is like the fantasy horse, which I mean it's a fantasy line, so it's fair enough.
Yeah, but real horse totally have wings like that.
Yeah, well, I mean like the muscle tone. I don't know. My family owns horses, so I know that's not what a horse looks like. There's no way. I mean.
That's a cut
Unless
horse.
he's going to the gym 24/7. That's not what a horse
He's
looks
toy.
like.
He's so toy.
It's both biceps. Oh, like calling them Vitruvian hags. They're
Right.
providing the Vitruvian man, the Vitruvian woman, and now I'm just gonna call it
The Vitruvian horse. But they had a lot of fun with the horse too. Like there's a rainbow colored unicorn and all sorts of things.
Oh, yeah, sure. They went ham on it.
I believe that actually is our last.
Okay.
So
Is there, I downloaded 3 things. I wasn't sure. I think actually the Glycos folder things probably would just put it here.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'll show
What
you.
is-
Yeah, sure.
no, just show me what you're doing.
Oh,
You
doesn't-
want to see your
doesn't-
secrets?
Oh, there's, I was smart enough to clear my browser history while during this source. Okay, yeah, so
Yeah,
those
so
are
those
those
are
are slides.
Alright.
So that's
So
all I
that's
have.
it?
Yeah, that is it. I was talking with Bill, who does the Eagle Force, just to give a little background about that. He wanted to provide images, but out of respect to his backers, he said that he wasn't going to do any more promotion. He's had the same production issues that Spiro had with Emma Warskin times 1,000. So he's very apologetic to all of his fans who put into his Kickstarter, but he just wanted, he's like, I respect them too much. I don't want to be out there promoting new product when the old product hasn't been out yet. So we almost had a good look at some upcoming Eagle Force, but it's a good reason why we don't. So I just wanted to hit that. So we know some about this. Do you have any questions? We can't give definite answers to everything. So, but if you got any general questions, maybe you can direct you about it. Or you can go see Brandon. He probably has better answers than we do.
Yeah, go see Brandon, definitely see what you set up, the boss fight.
Yeah, go check out that. Which Brandon, her and his assistant out there, he apparently thought that they were for sale and almost sold some of them. Like, no, we have to return those.
They're fun, as long as that'll be.
So yeah, the boss fight are not for sale. Some of the other ones are. So go over there, check it out. Buy 1 or 2, play with them, get addicted,
Sure.
and then sit there and cry when you don't get them.
I mean, if you attend Columbus Toy Show and some of the other regional toy shows in the area, there's vendors there that have every one of these lines for sale. You'll just be able to hold them. You can go through the motions to get it. You get a feel for yourself.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out and seeing a little bit of the different toys that are out there. Even though they weren't all robots.
Maybe next
So
time.
they could be. You can customize.